Hey everyone, and welcome back to Bridging the Gap. Make sure to leave a like on this video down below and subscribe because we're getting so close to election. You want to see our final prediction, don't you? My name is Alvin. I lean right on most issues, and I'll be representing the Republican side.
My name is Luke. I lean left on most issues, and I'll be representing the Democratic side. Now, in this video, we'll be analyzing the 2022 midterm Senate elections, essentially through polling and through polling averages. Yeah.
Yeah, so the map you see right now on screen is the 538 polling average, and we haven't used 538 much on this channel, and we'll get into a little bit of that, a little bit of why. And now we have two of the other pollsters that have been actually diligent and surveying every competitive Senate seat, which we thank them for because we need that. We have Emerson College, which is one of the best pollsters at doing that this cycle. They try to be as accurate as possible, nonpartisan pollster. Sometimes they lean left, sometimes they lean right, but here we go. 5248 on Emerson as compared to 5149 on 538. And finally, we have Trafalgar Group headed by Robert Cahaley. Not sure how to pronounce the name, but they have a 5347. Some would consider them an R pollster. Some would say they make up their numbers, but we're going to be looking at all of these. So let's start with 538, Luke.
Yeah. So as of today, which is what does oh my
Sixth.
God, the 6th of November, 2 days from election day. Yes. The average on 538 has Republicans. The generic ballot average on 538 has Republicans up 1.1, which is pretty left leaning compared to some other like raw pollsters. And I mean, obviously, what we've seen in Trafalgar and Emerson. So we're thinking this might lean a little bit to the left this cycle, based on what we've seen in the polling averages. Now, looking at getting into the map here, we have Georgia going to Herschel Walker, we have Pennsylvania barely going to Fetterman, Arizona going to Mark Kelly, Laxalt winning in Nevada, and Hassan winning in New Hampshire. Okay, so that's like 49 Democrats, 51 Republicans. This is not really like I believe compared to our map, this is just really flips Georgia and Pennsylvania compared to our most recent prediction. A thing about 538 though is that their polling averages update quite slowly. At least like what we've seen. Like if we're starting to see Republican polls like really come out, or like polls on one side really come out in higher numbers, we think 538's averages are kind of slow to update and catch up to those margins. So that's why I think, for example, here Pennsylvania is still tilt Democrat. But yeah, essentially this is their map here. Do you have anything to say about
it? So there are a few reasons we don't use 538, and well, the first of all, and some that a lot of the right would criticize them on, is that they lean left in like 2020 and 2016, and that's honestly a fair point. In 2018, they were somewhat spot on, like somewhat. They're a little off to left as well, I believe, especially in the Senate. And something you want to know with 538 is that their polling averages shift extremely slowly, like Luke said. There's probably a reason why Pennsylvania is still tilt Democrat, because Fetterman has so many old polls in his favor, and Oz has only gotten the recent polls to go his way, that 538 just doesn't adjust that quickly. Okay. Same with Arizona. Blake Masters has picked up the momentum. Now he's probably about even. And maybe a smidge to Kelly, but certainly not over a point. And AZ is still lean Democrat. A lot of these other states like Ohio, North Carolina have shifted to probably likely Republican, as we put in our prediction yesterday. And guess what? It's still lean on 538. So yeah, two things. They lean to the left sometimes. They don't update their polling average, but there's still a somewhat decent indicator. We have some problems with 538, but at least they try to give ratings and whatnot. We'll give them credit for that. It's not Nate Gold that runs the site; it's Nate Silver. They're okay. Okay, we'll move on to Emerson College here after 5149 538. So Emerson College, I guess I'll go first on this one.
Yeah, sure.
Since you went first last time, and Emerson is very good at going across the nation. I think Emerson might be my favorite pollsters here. You said the same thing, right? Like Emerson going around the nation and trying to adjust for Trump margins in 2020 is really, really useful. Now, Something I want to note, though, is that they were on par with Trafalgar, which we'll get to in some states, especially over the summer. But recently, they've diverged a little, especially in the swing states like New Hampshire, where we'll get to. Trafalgar has New Hampshire going Republican, but this one is like plus 4D over there, and like Washington, Colorado. These are big differences that Emerson is to the left. But in other states, they're fairly in line with what Republicans would want to see. For example, in Ohio, they just dropped a poll with Vance up 9, and they want to see Kelly losing to Masters in Arizona. But then we have Georgia. They're all over the place, which is sometimes a good thing. You want to make sure that you're independent. You're not trying to spin a narrative, and they're willing to release their polls no matter where they go. But it is a little weird to see some things not add up. What do you think?
Yeah, so Emerson's generic ballot is at 4.9 in favor of the Republicans, plus 4.9. That's a tad to the right of what we think. I think our combined kind of number right now is plus 4.5 Republican. I don't know. We've seen Emerson on par with Trafalgar in some cases, but yeah, again, like as you mentioned, we've seen that divergence. I mean, I believe, example, these are Senate races, but in the governor's races, most notable one being New York, Emerson put Kathy Hochul up 9, the Democrat, and Trafalgar put her down 1. So that's a 10-point gap. So there's been more noticeable gaps in some races between Emerson and Trafalgar. So not really like, I mean, some races are the same, but like, it's generally, but I mean, like if you look at their map here, there's a lot of like notable races here, like outside the swingy, the ones we normally focus on. I mean, they have Illinois as likely Democrat. They don't have Tammy Duckworth getting over 10 points, which I found really interesting. And also in Utah is very interesting as well. They have Evan McMullen actually getting this kind of close with Mike Lee, like getting it under 10 points, under double digits again. So I mean, yeah, it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I do take that point. They do have some of these more safe states closer than you might expect, like Utah and Illinois. So anyways, 52-40 and Emerson. Let's just wrap up with Trafalgar, Luke.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Trafalgar right now, their generic ballot is one of the farthest right ones. They're at 5.8 as of late October. They're probably going to release another generic ballot. I mean, either today, maybe like in the time before election day, but we'll see. Yeah, Trafalgar in 2020, 2018, 2016, really over the last few years has been a consistent pollster in terms of the fact that it's been consistently in favor of Republicans, like consistently biased for Republicans or like spot on. So like we can usually rely on Trafalgar to either be right or off to the right. I mean, that essentially, yeah. So they're a good kind of marker to see how far Republicans can get. Right now, their map shows 47 Democrats to 53 Republicans, essentially. Yeah, I mean, that's interesting. I mean, like, so they have Oz winning in Pennsylvania, Walker winning in Georgia, Laxalt up in Nevada, and even Bolduc winning in New Hampshire. I mean, I think in their lean races, there is a definitely, like, if they put a race lean Republican, I think there's a pretty solid chance the Democrat still has a shot of winning for sure. But yeah, I mean, like, do you want to like talk about any specific races?
Yeah,
like,
of course we see a little, like, we can see a big difference, like a little difference in some states, but a big difference in others between Trafalgar and Emerson, and of course the 538 average. If I just flip between these, you can see basically every state is to the right of what it is on 538, and this somewhat makes sense, of course, with Trafalgar being on the dot or to the right. And I like Trafalgar as usually looking at the maximum, the best the Republicans can do, right? Realistically, which it's a good pollster for that. But something somewhat weird to know, they nailed New Jersey in 2021, right? And they have some like similar like D+10 to D+15 states in Washington and Colorado as very, very close. But I'm not too sure if these are correct this time around. So I really want to watch out to see if those are right, because if Trafalgar is on the dot everywhere in the nation, then they're going to be a force to be reckoned with in 2024 and 2026 and beyond. Yeah. Any final words here on this comparison?
Yeah, I mean, we here in these different kind of like we have 3 different entire scenarios here in all these different maps, the 538 Emerson and Trafalgar maps as of right now. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways election day can go down. I'm sure there's definitely more possibilities than these. I'm sure each of them have some rights, have some wrong, but we'll see. It provides different pictures and different possibilities.
Yeah,
that's really
well, I mean, if anything is common here, is common territory, it's that Republicans take the Senate, right? So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's true.
Probably the most likely outcome. We'll see by how much. All right. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. Make sure to leave a like on this video down below. Comment down below for the YouTube algorithm, of course. Subscribe because our next video that we're releasing is gonna be our grand final prediction for the 2022 midterm. So you really need to subscribe to get that notification. Hit the bell as well. And yeah, there we go.
And make sure to share with your friends. Yeah, election day is really close. It's exciting, guys.
Like tomorrow, right? Like tomorrow. All right. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, see ya.